Radical Islam is a doctrine which has been spread by terror, murder, and violence, and it threatens to overthrow regions around the globe. We are here as a democratic group, collected in support of our collective human rights and peaceful coexistence with our fellow man. The question that some of you will be posing tonight is, what are human rights? On December the 10th, 1948, the United Nations General Assembly proclaimed the Universal Declaration of Human Rights. Part of the declaration states that everyone is entitled to all the rights and freedoms without distinction of any kind, such as their race, color, sex, language, religion, political or other opinion, their national or social origin, property, birth or status. Everyone has the right to life, liberty and security of person. No one shall be subjected to torture or cruel, inhuman or degrading treatment or punishment. Everyone has the right to recognition everywhere as a person before the law. All are equal before the law, and all are entitled without any discrimination to equal protection of the law. No one shall be subjected to arbitrary arrest, detention or exile. Everyone has the right to freedom of thought, freedom of conscience and religion. This includes the freedom to change someone's religion, the freedom, either alone or in a community, to express themselves and express their religion. Everybody has the right to freedom of opinion and expression. Today, you're going to hear from people of all kinds: Muslims, Jews, Hindus, Sikhs, young people and old people, blacks and whites. We're all coming together to share our experiences under our coalition, to share what we have experienced from political radical Islam. To start the procession, I'd like to introduce Bobby Gray, who is going to sing the Star-Spangled Banner.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight on the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave? Thank you.
I'd like to introduce Gerald Bell, who's here for himself and also on behalf of Charles Jacobs.
Good afternoon. A great friend and ally of mine, Charles Jacobs, was going to be here to lead off this rally today, but he had a personal emergency and he asked me to deliver a short version of his speech, and I'm truly honored to do it. And I quote Charles Jacobs, on May 3rd, 2009, Times Square, "Remember this time and this place. This is a moment that freedom-loving peoples in America began to fight back against the growing threat of a global movement that aspires to destroy our world and our freedom. Here today, a few miles from where almost 3,000 of us were slaughtered, we, people of all races and many cultures and countries, band together to resist the world's newest barbarism, radical political Islam. America saved freedom when it defeated fascism and communism. But today, political Islam now surges around the globe. And on the twin engines of terror and deception, radical Islam is today enslaves and slaughters blacks in Africa, assaults Christian communities in Iraq, Egypt, Pakistan, oppresses Baha'is and Sikhs and Hindus, subjugates and beats women in Islamic communities, murders gays, demonizes and kills Jews, subjugates and hunts moderate Muslims. Radical Islam threatens to conquer the West. Confused, befuddled, imbecilic Western leaders pretend this all away, but we cannot. We are Americans, and we came here today to do what Americans do best. Only in America can the victims of jihad, black, white, yellow, and brown, gather and join in a brotherhood of freedom. Some people, hearing us ring a warning bell, will call us paranoid and even racist. But go and ask the black African Sudanese if jihad is a needless worry, or the Asian Christian Pakistanis, or the Christians in Egypt and Lebanon and Iraq, or the Hindus in Mumbai, or the Buddhists in Thailand, the Jews in Israel and Europe. We are not racist. Here we are, guided by America's doctrine of liberty, which were created to defeat tyranny and which have defeated tyranny. Today we stand united, ready to fight for our freedom and the freedom of all those who are oppressed and threatened by radical Islam. We will do everything to defend our lives, our civilization, and our freedom. And as Charles would have us to say, we've jihad enough. Say it with me. We've jihad enough. We jihad enough. Beloved, as we come and as I stand before you, I stand not only to present the words of Charles Jacobs, my friend, but I stand here as Gerald Bell, the pastor of Strong Tower Church in Boston. I learned first about radical Islam in the year 1999 from my friend Charles Jacobs. I was an African-American pastor dealing with violence in the inner city, and my friend Charles Jacobs forced me to look at justice all around the world. He forced me to live out the truth of my religion and my faith. I was in Sudan, in South Sudan, on the 4th of July, 2001. That was before 9/11. I witnessed the brutality of the Islamic regime from the north. I was a part of redeeming 6,700 slaves. Yes, my beloved brothers and sisters, slaves in 2001. It changed my life, what I saw. I witnessed young girls who had been raped. I saw the young boys who had been born into slavery. And I laid there on the ground. Yes, beloved, it was raining when I was in Sudan. But that did not stop the courage that I had to do what God had called me to do. When I think of the slaves in Sudan, and I think of the injustices all around the world, and I look at you who are standing in the rain, who have come from many miles away to stand up for truth and justice, I tip my hat to you. I congratulate you, freedom fighters, because God witnesses what you're doing. And my friend Charles Jacob, who cannot be here today, is standing with us. Beloved, I want you to remember this, that they utilize weapons of terror, weapons of fear, and weapons of deception. But we gather today with love. We gather in truth, and we stand in courage. And in the words of the prophet Zechariah, praise be to the Lord, the God of Israel, because he has come, and he has come to redeem his people. He has come to rescue us from the hand of our enemies and to enable us to serve him without fear. Beloved, be reminded, perfect love casts out fear. Be strong and very courageous. If not now, when? And if not me, who? Who will stand up for justice? Who will speak for the oppressed? Who will stand, beloved? I will go. Who will go for us? Will you stand with us? We've jihad enough. We've jihad enough. We jihad enough. We jihad enough. Thank you very much.
I would like to introduce our next speaker, who's Dr. Tawfiq Hamid. He's an Islamic scholar and a Muslim reformer.
Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Thank you everybody for being here today. My name is Tawfiq Hamid, and it's my honor to share with you today and to be among you to defend our values of human rights, freedom and liberty. I was invited here today as a Muslim reformer, but I would like to say it clearly that I am here today before everything else because I am a human being. I define myself as follows. I am a Muslim by birth, Christian by the spirit, Jew by heart, and above all, I am a human being. I have many messages today, but the most important ones in my eyes are the first one to the Muslim scholars all over the world. I demand from them to produce a new interpretations for Islam that clearly and unambiguously stand against what I call the ABCs of radical Islam. They are the following: A, apostate killing; B, beating women and stoning them to death; C, calling Jews pigs and monkeys; D, declaring war on non-Muslims to subjugate them to Islam; E, enslavement of female war prisoners and raping them; and F, fighting Jews before end days and killing all of them; and G, gay killing. I demand from the Islamic scholars, before asking the world to call Islam the religion of peace, to issue tafsirs and interpretations of the religion that clearly and unambiguously stand against this violent teaching. I have another message for my Muslim fellows all over the world. I say to them that the world has seen you demonstrating with passion and in huge numbers against the cartoon issue of Prophet Muhammad, against the Pope of the Vatican, against France for banning the hijab. But the world has never seen you yet demonstrating with such passion and in the same number against Bin Laden and the other terrorists. The time has come to demonstrate that you reject this violent teaching and this barbarism. In these historical moments, I would like to remember every victim of terror, and I will choose one of them as a symbol for all mankind. This one is called Daniel Pearl. He was a Jewish journalist, Wall Street Journal journalist, and he died in a barbaric manner. They beheaded him with no mercy, and his wife was pregnant, in absolute silence of the Muslim world. I couldn't stand this, and I said to Daniel, and I say the same to every victim of terror, I said to him, I will quote it in Arabic first, my mother tongue, أقسم أني لن أترك اسمك يمحى من ذاكرة التاريخ. I swear that I will never ever let your name be erased from the memory of history. وسأكتب اسمك بالدمع, and I will write your name with my tears. وسأحفر اسمك في الصخر, and I will carve your name at the top of the mountains so that everybody will see it. فما قتلوك وحدك يا دانيال. They haven't only killed you, O Daniel, بل قتلوا الحق وقتلوا الحب وقتلوا أحلام الأجيال. But they killed the meaning of love, the meaning of truth, and the dreams of the coming generations. قسما بأنينك وقت الذبح. I swear with your groaning pains when they slaughtered you. وبدمع طفلك في الرحم. And I swear with the tears of your child when it was in the uterus, أني لن أنساك يا دانيال, that I will never ever forget you, O Daniel. إن قتلوك لأنك يهودي, if they have killed you because you are a Jew, فأنا يهودي منذ الآن, then I am a Jew from now on. My dear friends, brothers and sisters in humanity, in this day and in these historical moments, I have a message for many people as well. I say to the converts from Islam who are waiting the death penalty in the name of Sharia, that you are not alone. I say to the women who are waiting to be stoned to death in the name of Sharia, you are not alone. I say to the gays who are waiting to be hanged to death in the name of Sharia, you are not alone. I say to young girls who are forced into marriage with someone in the 50s, that you are not alone. I say to every slave who is sold in the name of Sharia, that you are not alone. I say to every human soul that suffered because of terrorism, and the victims and the families of September the 11th, that you are not alone. Please repeat it after me. You are not alone. You are not alone. You are not alone. God bless you all, and God bless all mankind. Thank you.
I think lots of people, they hear the stories that the speakers here are saying, and they don't realize that these things are real. All these stories are real things happening in the world, and together we need to unite in order to confront radical Islam. Our next speaker is from Active America, Joy Brighton. She's coming just a bit ahead of schedule, and she's coming now.
I know. Okay. Thanks for coming out on this great day here. If you are a liberal, if you are tolerant, if you believe in women's rights and gay rights, if you believe in freedom, and if you are an American, this is a message for you. Everybody get out your Blackberries and get out your iPhones and Google up the word Sharia. S-H-A-R-I-A-H. Sharia, learn about it, understand it, and I'll help you fight against it. Sharia is the Islamic law, the written law of radical Islam. Let me give you a hint as to what Sharia is. September 11th and the murder of 3,000 American infidels is the work of Sharia. The Taliban rules by Sharia. Ahmadinejad and Osama bin Laden rule and live by Sharia. The killing in Darfur is the work of Sharia. The Mumbai massacres is the work of Sharia. Suicide bombing is Sharia. The slaughter of decent, liberty-minded Muslims all around the globe is the work of Sharia. Sharia is racist, sexist, intolerant, and funded by oil. Sharia is anti-Muslim, anti-freedom, anti-women, anti-gay, anti-human rights, and anti-American. And one more thing, Sharia is here in America. No, I'm not just talking about September 11th. There's a quiet Sharia creeping around our country, and let me tell you where it is. There are Sharia honor killings in Dallas, Texas. 2 teenage daughters were murdered by their Sharia father for wearing American makeup. Sharia forgives murder if it honors the family name. There is a Sharia honor killing in Buffalo, New York. A Muslim woman had her head cut off, beheaded in Buffalo, New York, because she asked for a divorce from her Sharia husband. Sharia allows for this. Where is the American outrage? Domestic violence hotlines are ringing off the hook all over America. Wisconsin, Kentucky, Illinois, Minnesota, Southern California, and Texas. Muslim women and girls are looking for shelter from their fathers, their uncles, and their brothers who are beating them in the name of Sharia. Where is American outrage? There is a Sharia court in Richardson, Texas. Where is American outrage? Our universities, Harvard, Columbia, Rice, Michigan, and Georgetown are receiving millions of dollars from Saudi Arabia. And in exchange, we have professors who believe in Sharia heading up our history and religion departments. Where is American outrage? The places where you bank, Citibank, UBS, HSBC, and AIG have found a new way to make money. They are building mini Islamic banks, Sharia banks, all over the world and in America. They are trading in anywhere they can find oil money. They'll take it at whatever the cost. That is the next dirty little secret on Wall Street. Where is the American outrage? Books are being taken off shelves. Here are 2 books, The Jewel of Medina and Alms for Jihad. You will never see these books. They have been taken off shelves. Alms for Jihad is about Sharia charity funding terror. The Jewel of Medina is about Muhammad's child bride of 6 years old. Random House, under threat of violence, pulled this book off the shelf. Cambridge Press in Boston pulled these books off shelf. Where is the outrage? All right, I don't have to finish. You have to just give me a second. I'm almost done. Okay. If you are outraged, If you want to help Muslim women and children around the world and in America break the chains of Sharia, it's time to act. If you are outraged that our banks have become the banker of choice for the Taliban, Iran, Saudi Arabia, and Al-Qaeda, now is the time to act. If you are outraged that our American universities are taking Saudi dollars in exchange for Sharia professors, it's time to act. And if you are outraged that this country is still reliant on Middle East oil, now is the time to act. Together we can stop it. Join Act for America. We have 58,000 members. We have 270 chapters nationwide. We have lobbyists on Capitol Hill every single day. And if they don't see the light, they're going to feel the heat. Join us. Thank you. An Act for America President Madeline Brooks somewhere. If you want to find her, there she is, the teal umbrella. Join up. Thanks.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'd like to invite the next speaker to the stand, Shlomi Azaleh. Hello. Here is Shlomi.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Shlomi Azulai. I'm Israeli. I'm Jewish. And 7 years ago, I got badly injured in one of the biggest terror attacks in Israel, in Cafe Moment in Jerusalem. I spent 3.5 years in rehab. And just make it very short, because of the radical Islamic. I would like to share with you my story as a survivor of terror. A story that is not unique only to my country, Israel, where there are thousands of people like me. I know this because I've met hundreds of these wounded people in Hineni Jerusalem Center, terror survivor in Jerusalem. Until today, Israel is daily confronted over and over again with horrifying terror attacks like the one on Saturday night, March 2002, when I got injured. On that Saturday night, I was having a drink with friends in a cafe full of innocent civilians when at 10:30 p.m. a terrorist walked in and bombed himself. As a result, 11 innocent people were brutally murdered, and over 54 innocent people were injured for life physically and mentally. I personally was severely wounded, especially on my back and my knee. But the horrifying scenes that I witnessed have traumatized me for life. There is no day or night that I go through without having flashbacks and nightmares about dead bodies and the young innocent people whose arms and legs are blowing off. Until today, I need many pills and control my pain and trauma. This barbaric attack was planned by the radical Islamic terrorist organization Hamas, who uses operatives that live in Jerusalem, exploring their accessibility as a residents to travel freely inside Israel, to gather information, deliver explosives, and smuggle in terrorists. Until today, I still cannot understand their gain in the loss of so many innocent lives. Nor can I understand and accept those who condemn Israelis' action of self-defense against this radical Islamic organization and regimes who call for Israelis' destruction and who manage to put in danger the negotiation for peace between Israel and the Palestinians by influencing the population to their free programs of social welfare and idle brainwashing innocent youth about jihad. This jihad is not because of a dispute about a land for peace, but because Israel wants to freely live as a Jewish state. Why do the government and spiritual leaders of the world not raise against those radical Islamic when they call for Israel's destruction? Why does the world again remain silent when radical Islamic deny the Holocaust? Furthermore, why doesn't the world act when radical Islamics continue to murder innocent people all over the globe, as they do in Afghanistan, Egypt, Great Britain, India, Iraq, Israel, Indonesia, Pakistan, Russia, Sudan, Spain, and United States of America in 9/11, and so many other places? To quote a doomed book, haven't we learned that all that necessary for evil triumph is that good men do nothing? For us, Jew religion is a way to come closer to God. For us, Jew become closer to God means participating in making his creation, the world, better place for all living in it. For us, Jew, anyone who wants to serve God should not participate in acts for blasphemy, violence, murder, destruction, and one must choose life over death. If the effort, energy, and resources currently used by radical Islam for murder and destruction were to be used for the betterment of the world and the achievement of the world peace, the radical Islam will be earned everyone respect for its contribution to the humanity. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much. The next speaker who's coming to the podium is Simon Deng.
Whatever you have in mind on me, just do it. Thank you very much. Good afternoon, my fellow human beings. Good afternoon, my fellow freedoms of human rights. Good afternoon, my fellow people of concern. I come from a country where its people suffer in the hands of jihadis in the Islamic government of Khartoum. My peoples for 53 years has been crying and telling the world what is happening to them. It is a threat. It is going to affect the entire world. But unfortunately, no one was there to listen. My fellow human being, it was not long ago when the radical Islam waged the war on innocent people in southern Sudan. That left 2 million southern Sudanese Christians that being called, quote-unquote, infidels, was a slaughter. The United Do-Nothing Nation and kept silent, and the whole world kept silent. My fellow human being, the radical Islamic of Khartoum enslaved thousands of southern Sudanese. I happen to be one of the victims in which I come a long way from the slavery to freedom, and I'm glad today to stand before you and joining hands with you as a free man, standing together with the free peoples in a free nations. My fellow human being, when we echo to the world that the jihad is emerged, nobody listens. When we told the Westerns, even including the United States of America, that we are being slaughtered in the war against jihad, or we are fighting the war against jihad, they didn't listen. Guess what? They said to us, don't drag us in your problem. When we talk about the terror, they always assume that the terror is against the southern Sudanese and the state of Israel. But look what today, the terror is in Pakistan, the terror is in India, the terror is in China, the terror is in Maghreb, the terror is in London, and my fellow human being and my fellow New Yorkers, who will never forget 9/11. Where are our Twin Towers? Most important, who will forget what happened to our fellow human being in the same city that we are staying in today? That was an act of terror. That was the thing that I experienced in the southern Sudan. I could not even believe my eyes. I thought then that I escaped the terror in Sudan. But coming here to see the terror where human beings are dying in a horrible death and a fire on the acts of evils. My fellow human being, you today standing in this wet weather, you happen to be a people of conscience. You happen to be the people who be standing up, because the worst thing can happen to us is for the free people in a free nation to sit and do nothing. Do nothing itself. We are telling the evils that go ahead, we have nothing to do with you. Guess what? If there was one man who stood up on evil Hitler, we would have saved one life. But unfortunately, the world did nothing then, and 6 million was perished because the free people sat and do nothing. In Rwanda, the whole world sat and do nothing. In 90 days, more than almost 1 million was perished because we did nothing. In Sudan, my people, 2 million was perished because the world did nothing. My fellow human being, and the list goes on and on and on. If anybody would have stood up when we were telling that Osama bin Laden is in Khartoum, is being adopted by a radical government in Khartoum, probably today we would have our fellow brothers and sisters, husbands and wives, cousin and nephew, they would be alive with us today in the city of New York. But unfortunately, people sat and did nothing, and Osama bin Laden went ahead and recruited radical Islam, and they come after you here in the city of New York. Again, everybody thought then by capturing the blind sheikhs, then nothing will happen again. But this is the beginning. This is a war that needs to be confronted by the people of good conscience. This is the war have to be all of us, and I'm glad today to share this forum with my fellow good Muslims, because we have to stand up together. And I'm calling on the Muslim, is be out and is defend your religion, because the evil act is being waged in the name of your religion. Stand up and say that this is not my part. Stand up, don't let me be the one in fighting your war. Join me and let's join hands, and my fellow human being. It was said by the good man long ago, fear no evils, fear no evils, fear no evils, fear no evils, because the radical Islam is an evil to humanity, it is an evil to the society, and more important,
It is an evil to the free people in a free nation. It is incumbent on us to join hands together and say that we are not going to be bystander. My fellow human being, your numbers is very small. Believe it or not, you have a power. You have a power to be the voice. You have a power to change this world, because it will take one person to stand up for the rightness. Wrong is wrong, right is right. Radical Islam is wrong, jihad is wrong, and we have to confront them, and we are not going to be a bystander like the United Do-Nothing Nations. We are here as the voice, and my fellow human being, let be the change. Let be the change that we want to see in the world, because we always assume that this world of ours, it is a world need to be a world of peace, world of love, world of reconciliations, and world of togetherness. But this world is polluted. This world is violent. There are those who call me that I'm an infidel. I'm not an infidel. I'm a human being like any other human being. Don't turn a blind eye when Israel is being attacked because they happen to be a Jewish. They are part of the human society of ours. Don't be a bystander when we are being attacked in Sudan. And at the time when we talk about let's get along, how can we get along as long as Ahmadinejad want to wipe out Israel off the map? How can we get along as long as Hezbollah is waging an evil war? How can we get along as long as Hamas is there building his power to kill innocent people? My fellow human being, the power is in your hands. Let's be out and fear not. Fear not. Fear not. Let's confront the evil, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. The next speaker who's coming to stand is Mohammed Yahya.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming in this rainy time. Thank you for coming to share with us this critical moment in our life. My name is Muhammad Yahya. I am from Darfur. I am a Muslim. I am from the same country where my brother Simon Deng came from. He is from South and Christian, and I am a Muslim from Darfur. But we are all victims of the same evil. We are all victims of the same fundamental radical regime, which is called the NCP, National Islamic Front. National Islamic Front and National Congress Party, which is working day through the night with cooperation with those radical Muslims along the world, including Osama bin Laden. As just mentioned, he was being hosted in Sudan for quite a long time because he was expelled. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a big duty. We have a huge worries because the Muslims, those who are radicals, those who are bad Muslims, trying to eliminate, trying to eradicate, trying to kill and wipe out Jewish, even Muslims like me who are black Muslims, they have no place in Sudan. Exactly like the southern Sudanese people who are Christians, they have no place in Sudan. And also like Hindus, like Sikhs, like good people, and even Christians, they have no place to live in our world today. We are facing the murders wherever. We are facing killings and rape and destruction and bombing, suicide bombings everywhere. And they taught us in our schools that you are a good Muslims. You are better than Jewish. You are better than Christian. You are better than animists. You are better than infidels. And you have to hate them. You have to kill them wherever you get them. You have to fight against them. Unfortunately, when we came here in the United States of America, who are good people? Jewish are good people. Who are good people? Christians are good people. Who are good people? Even those who don't have any religion, who are so compassionate, who are so friendly, who are so great, who are so generous. They open their hearts to us when we have been driven out of our country. We have no freedom in our own countries. We're ruled by Muslims, those who are radical Muslims. You have no freedom of expression. You have no freedom of any talks. You have no freedom to say anything right or in your behalf of your people. Ladies and gentlemen, our people in Darfur killed and they driven out to go to Israel. When they go to Israel, Israel welcomes them. They given them schools. They given them medicines. They given them shelters. They given them food. And even they given them IDs. Who is the real enemies, ladies and gentlemen? Israel, Jewish, or Christians, or radical Muslims? Who are the real evils? Who are the real enemies? The enemies who are killing innocent people, regardless anything, just because they are not expressing or practicing the same ideologies that they did. They have been killed just because they have that right to adopt any religion that they want. They don't have any chance to live with them. And that's why we see them everywhere, because we failed to stop the killings in Holocaust. We failed to stop the killings everywhere. And that's why it spread over, and they will come here in the United States again. They will come here again, ladies and gentlemen, if you are not stand together. We should stand together. We should support each other. We should say no, no to the killers, no to the radical Islam, no to the evil, no to those who are trying to eliminate the human beings like you. It is opportunity for me to thank you all and to thank this country. But I have just one last message. One last message to our administration, to our Obama administration, and to Gresham, who is the special envoy of Sudan right now, who are trying to go to Sudan to normalize the relationship with the terrorist regime. They're trying to cooperate with the terrorist regime. Say no for normalization. Say no for normalization with the evil. No normalization with the regimes that killing innocent people in Darfur. We should hold them accountable. And thank you for the opportunity. Long live America. Long live Israel. Long live freedom fighters. We hope that God will bless all of you to continue to do the right thing for the right people. Thank you so much.
Thank you again. Our next speaker is Arish Sahni. He is a Hindu from Pakistan who moved to India and is now here to speak to us all.
God bless America. Namaste. I stand before you and feel proud of living in the United States. This country is like a heaven on earth. I was born in Rawalpindi, now in Pakistan. We were forced to leave our ancestral land and because we were Hindus. We fled to India in 1947 and in 1971 I migrated to USA. There are millions like me in USA who have come from different countries. What is the status of my Hindu brothers and sisters left behind in Pakistan and Bangladesh? To quote Hindu American Foundation report endorsed by several US congressmen and senators, in 1947, during partition, Hindus in Pakistan are about 25% population of the Pakistan. Listen again. 1947, during partition, Hindus in Pakistan are about 25% population of Pakistan. Today, after 60 years, the population is reduced to 1%. What happened to the millions of Hindus in Pakistan? Mostly were forced to convert, or many fled the country. The report quotes that alarming trend of Hindu girls being kidnapped, raped, and held in madrasas and forcefully converted. Government sanctions discrimination through blasphemy laws. Just yesterday, area captured by Taliban forced followers of Sikh religion to vacate their homes and business for not paying oppressive jizya tax. In 1947 is what is Bangladesh today. Hindus were 30% of the population. Listen again, in 1947, what Bangladesh is today, Hindus were 30% of the population. Today, they are less than 10% of the population. What happened to all those Hindus in Bangladesh? The report quotes daily acts of murder, rape, kidnapping, temple destruction, and physical intimidation. Government has Vested Property Act allows to capture property of Hindus anytime, where nearly 1.2 million families have their properties taken over by the government. What about Hindus in majority India? In one area of India where Hindus are minority, Kashmir Valley, 300,000 Hindus were driven out by radical Islamists from their homes using rape, murder, and intimidation. They are living in camps for last 18 years. In just 4 years, can you imagine being forced to live as refugees in your own country? Can you imagine if you have a daughter, you can never know when she will be kidnapped and converted? Can you imagine witnessing destruction of your worship places that has thousands of years of history being blown out to pieces? Can you imagine worship places being converted to slaughterhouses? This is what radical Islamists are capable of doing. This is a violation of human rights and pure genocide by radical Islam. Now the question is, do you want to live under radical Islam? Do you know what radical Islam is? Do you know what happens when radical Islam takes over your neighborhood? Do you know under radical Islam, no other religion can exist? Jews, Christians, and Hindus, Sikhs will be just killed. Now there are 57 Islamic nations in this world. 57 Islamic nations in this world. The radical Islamists in several of these countries want to convert whole world to Islam. We read in the news media that radical Islam wants to put its flag on White House. Can you imagine? They want to take over Europe and India by brainwashing Muslims to increase the population. Do you know the history of radical Islam? Does so-called political correct journalists have any idea what is in store for the future of the humanity? In the last 1400 years, listen to this carefully, in last 1400 years, radical Islam is the cause of the murder of 270 million people, 120 million Africans, 60 million Christians, 80 million Hindus, 6 and 10 million Buddhists. In 1399, Sultan Timur massacred 100,000 Hindus and today the mountain is called Hindu Kush, the slaughter of Hindus. Did you know that today's Taliban dominated areas such as Pakistan and Afghanistan and caused 9/11 attack just few years ago, filled with followers of non-violent and gentle Buddhist religion? According to well-known American historian Will Durant, Islamic invasion of India is probably the bloodiest story of history of humankind. Many historians say the Holocaust of Hindus in last 1400 years is much bigger than the Holocaust of Jews and Gypsies. Are you going to sit and do nothing? Are you going to sit and do nothing? Will our politicians let radical Islam take over USA? Will you allow radical Islam to take our freedom and education system and control lives of our children and women? Will you like the Sharia law under which girls can get no education and the women will have to cover their body with black burqa? Will you allow politically correct media allowed to dull our minds to the threat of radical Islam? Will you sit back and watch while radical Islamists subvert democracy by urging Muslims to increase population by 8 to 10 times and then to take over our population? Can you imagine Europe is lost from the free world? What is really less than 3 decades under current demographic studies? Will you also ponder over the question as to who is responsible for spreading the radical Islam all over the world? Is it Saudi Arabia and few new converts to Islam? Saudis are spending billions of dollars in USA to control our financial institution, education system, print and electronic media, and financially backing mosques and teach intolerance. While countries like Pakistan are foot soldiers, Saudi Arabia is funder of the terrorism today. Just read about what Saudi Arabia teaches children about other religions and ponder why so many educated Saudis committed barbaric in 9/11. Unfortunately, the ancestor of many Muslims today went through these brutal experiences. The first victim of radical Islamists is Muslims. It seeks to force half of our population of Muslim and women as a second-class citizen. We need to join hands with the Muslim brothers and sisters who see through this and have the courage to speak against them and join the hands of all humanity. Radical Islam is alien culture and not fit for this era. It is a brutal past. It is being revived by Western petrodollars to rogue countries such as Saudi Arabia and would not allow any other religion to practice in their country. I would urge and request law enforcement officials to keep a watch on activities of the radical Islamists and organizations such as CARE and Muslim Brotherhood. Freedom does not come free. Fight against radical Islam. Read all about radical Islam and educate yourself and your congressmen and senators about it. Take media to task and let them not cause the suicide of our culture in the name of radical correctness. Make sure the freedom of expression guaranteed under the Constitution is protected. Once again, God bless America and namaskar. Thank you.
I'd just like to get everyone to take a look around. In the rain in New York, look at the diverse coalition of people, the different cultures. Just look around you and see all the different sort of people who are coming together. And with that said, I'd like to reintroduce Bobby Gray for a rendition of America the Beautiful.
Oh, beautiful for spacious skies, for amber waves of grain, for purple mountains' majesty above the fruit God shed his grace on me and crown that good with brotherhood from sea to shining sea. Thank you.
Everyone, please can we have a round of applause? And a warm welcome to Bruce DeSalle and Mike Cutler from 9/11 Families.
Good afternoon. My name is Bruce DeSalle. I'm a retired New York City police officer. My son-in-law, Mark Petrocelli, was murdered on 9/11 at the World Trade Center site. He was killed by radical Islamic terrorists. And after that time, I'd like to say that Mark's family and my family and all of the families that I've met that were involved in 9/11 have suffered the loss of a person of their family which could never be replaced by any slogan or idea or in any way. There's always an empty chair at the table on any holiday, and the loneliness that fills our hearts for the loss of Mark it's just unconscionable, and I cannot express it in words. After 9/11, we founded a group, other family members and myself, called 9/11 Families for a Secure America. The object of this family group that we founded was to establish the causes of 9/11 and try to see if we could remediate them. We found out that there were massive inadequacies in the immigration policies of the United States. Some of these things that happened were by accident, but most of them were purposely came about because of our elected officials succumbing to the wishes of corporate entities that wanted to further tourism and trade, and as a result of their shortcuts and their lack of oversight, they issued driver's license, authentic identity documents to people who were Islamic terrorists who used those documents to move around the country, rent apartments, take flying lessons, and ultimately use their driver's license aboard the airplanes that they used as missiles in their cowardly attack on the World Trade Center, killing almost 3,000 people. Over these years, I've had so many experiences, and they're all too many to mention right now to you people. But the one thing that I want to say is our elected officials must be held to account by us as citizens. All they would like is for us to do nothing so that they could bow to their corporate sponsors who want to let in as many people to the country as possible to spend money, to have cheap labor, and to line their pockets. We need to be active. We need to contact our elected officials. We need to stay in touch with each other with the internet. As you see here, there are no major media outlets, ABC, NBC, CBS, not to be found. The message of this rally today that this wonderful group of people put together, the Human Rights Coalition Against Radical Islam, will almost not be reported at all. Hopefully the internet will provide other people with the message of the diversity of the people that are here who have united together to fight the Islamic threat. I just want to reiterate that we must stay engaged with our government if we ever hope to make ourselves safe again. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Michael Cutler. I'm a former senior special agent of what used to be the Immigration and Naturalization Service. I'm also the grandson of a woman who died in the Holocaust. I want you to know that tyranny and conquest of this planet by the tyrants is nothing new. We see it rise up again and again and again. And once again, we need to meet the challenge and beat it down as certainly as we did during the Second World War. E pluribus unum is the motto of the United States, from many one. As I look out among the people in this audience, what I see are people from every corner of the world, every race, every religion, every creed, every ethnicity, and we are united in a common cause. And this is what America is about, and this is where we derive our strength, because in our diversity we not only get strength, but we have created a country of unique opportunities and a unique place where we could celebrate our freedoms and our cultural differences. But there's a world of difference between being accepting of those people who are different from us and not defending those who would do harm to us because they are different from us. We've heard much about 2001, but I want to take you back 8 years before that. 1993, our country suffered 2 terrorist attacks. One at the Pentagon, at the CIA rather. 2 CIA officers were killed, 3 were wounded, and then a month later, the World Trade Center was attacked. The tower nearly came down sideways. There would have been hundreds of thousands of fatalities, and our government did nothing in response to address the fact that 6 people were killed, hundreds were injured, and $500 million in damage was inflicted on those iconic towers. So then we have the attacks of 2001. The ashes from that conflagration landed on my home in Brooklyn, and it was at that point that I decided I needed to get my voice heard, because as an agent I had the insight, the experience that not many people did. I've arrested terrorists in my career. As an agent with 1 year on the job, I tripped over a PLO plot to blow up an Israeli oil refinery. We prevented that attack. The way that we enforce the immigration laws, the way that we secure our borders are at the root cause of national security. As I've said before Congress, a house without secure walls, a country without secure borders can no more stand than can a house without walls. We need to make certain that the United States lives up to its obligation of the citizens of this nation and creates secure borders, provides opportunities for citizenship, but only to those people that we know don't pose a threat to our safety. And the final thought is that the only terrorists we tend to read about are the ones that carry out violent crimes. There are thousands of people right now operating in the United States in support of terrorism, not only in America, but throughout the world, using America as a cash cow. They sell narcotics, they commit fraud, they do all kinds of crimes, even arson where people are killed, all to generate money to buy weapons, explosives, and do more damage to people from the 4 corners of the world. As Bruce pointed out, we, the people of the United States, need to hold the politicians accountable because, folks, democracy is not a spectator sport, and I need all of you to get involved with our government because the sincerest form of patriotism is dissent. And that's something that we need to do in a peaceful but very definite manner. Thank you so much for being here today.
Please join me, all of you, my brothers and sisters, in honoring these 3 gentlemen. And I want to read the plaque and the gift we have for them today. You are our heroes. Thank you for defending human rights and freedom with gratitude and respect. The Human Rights Coalition Against Radical Islam. God bless you all.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you.
I'd just like to take a special mention for Colonel Alan West, who is united with us and the Human Rights Coalition against Radical Islam. Unfortunately, he was unable to make it tonight, but he does need our support. If you want to support him, please contact Beth Galinsky. Our next speaker is Robert Schneider, former Iraqi military. My apologies. Robert Schneider is one of the recipients of the award that we just handed out. Our next speaker is Bhupinder Singh Burji from the Namdhari Sikh Foundation.
My dear brothers and sisters, I'm here to...
You're all covered, so I'll take the umbrella.
Okay, thank you. It appears to be a great moment here to be against the human rights, people who are all doing all these things which are against the human kind, they're slaughtering, they're killing and all that. I'm here as a Sikh representative. I'm an American Sikh. Originally I'm from India. Our religion is the youngest and the latest major leading religions in the world. We are the followers of Guru Nanak Ji, a great perspective, true master and a philosopher, poet and a saint. Guru Nanak Dev Ji is the founder of Sikh religion. We Sikhs believe in the dignity of human being. We believe in peace, harmony and brotherhood of human being. We Sikhs have suffered the most at the hands of the radical Islam. During the 400 years of Islamic rule in India, Sikhs have suffered the most. In a nutshell, I would like to tell you something about the Sikh history. It's in very brief. In 15th century, when India was attacked by Islamic invaders from Afghanistan, our Guru Nanak Dev Ji was put in the jail by Muslim king and persecuted. After that, thousands of Sikhs were chased and killed by Islamic invaders. Then our fifth Guru Arjan Dev Ji was made to sit on the hot plate. Hot sand was poured over his body, and finally he achieved martyrdom. Our ninth Guru Tegh Bahadur Sahib was also brutalized inhumanly and achieved martyrdom for the sake of the humanity. Our 10th Guru Gobind Singh, two sons were baked alive. Sikhs were unable to handle Islamic torture for 300 years and finally decided to stand up and retaliate. Finally, Sikhs said enough is enough. They organized themselves, stood up under the stewardship of Guru Gobind Singh Ji and finally chased out all the invaders from India. We Sikhs fight in defense, self-defense. We are always ready to help any weak and helpless person. We Sikhs are well known as very good fighters. We are the mainstay of British Army in India at one time. Radical Islam is playing a havoc all over the world. Thousands of people, billions of people, millions of people have been killed in India. 3,000 people were killed in New York in 2001 during the 9/11. I think it should remind us the great havoc played in America itself. We all, your American fellow beings, many of our policemen and firefighters died during their duty when World Trade Center was attacked. 200 people were killed in bomb blasts in train in Madrid. 200 people were died in Mumbai blast. Hundreds of people were killed in Bali. Thousands of people were killed in Russia. Millions of people have been butchered in Sudan. Taliban are taking over Pakistan. There is a responsibility of every individual, human being in the world over, taking over control of atomic weapons in Pakistan. The situation is becoming very dangerous. Iran is supplying weapons to Hezbollah in Lebanon and Hamas in Gaza. Iran is developing nuclear weapons. Situation is becoming very explosive and grave day by day. The world should learn from Sikhs as to how to handle the barbarians. Our freedom of expression is in danger. The future of our children or other fellow beings is very much in danger. On behalf of my organization, I offer my full support to the Coalition of Human Rights Against Radical Islam, and hereby thank you everyone listening to me, and thank you for your being here in such a messy weather. That shows your spirits. Let's be further spirited and have the greatest enthusiasm to achieve our goal, whatever way we are leading. Jai. I will just say one word. You have to say, everybody has to say Sat Sri Akal. When I say, Jo bole so reha, Sat Sri Akal. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Of applause. We should also take a moment to think about all our human rights defenders, the police who are protecting our very rally today, the armed forces, the fire brigade, and everyone who stands for human rights. Hopefully, this will be the start of something big. Please advertise the group and spread the word to help make us stronger. If you need any further information about our efforts, just go to the website HRCARI.org, the Human Rights Coalition Against Radical Islam.org. And for our final act for today, please welcome Bobby Gray for God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains, through the prairies, through the oceans, wide with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless America, my home, sweet home. God bless. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.